Good day, everyone, and welcome to Video Assets, How to Increase Search Efficiency and Accuracy with me, John Horodyski. If you are looking for managing video in a multi-format, multi-language world with Chromata solutions, scroll to the top of the agenda and click track 1 or track 3 to find Dentsu 2021, the year of brand consistency, efficiency, and agility with AdStream and Dentsu Aegis Network. Remember, you can chat with your fellow attendees and of course submit your questions to me using the panel on the right-hand side of your screen. So without further ado, let's go with Video Assets, How to Increase Search Efficiency and Accuracy. Let's go. We're going to talk about metadata today. We're going to talk about videos in search. We're going to sneak in some goodness about governance, and then we're going to finish off with some best practices. And let's introduce myself. So my name is John Horodyski. I'm a managing director with Saltplatz. I've been doing digital asset management, metadata, MarTech strategy for over 20 years. I've been very fortunate to have worked with organizations from Fortune 10, 50, 100 and up in consumer packaging goods, media and entertainment, pharmaceuticals, and insurance. I also am an adjunct faculty at San Jose State University, where I teach a course in digital asset management. I've been doing that for almost 15 years now. And in addition to regular public speaking with the Henry Stewart Organization and other conferences around the world, I do a monthly column for CMS Wire, wrote a book a few years ago on DAM, and have a new book coming out in September on metadata. So before we begin to go, let's have some fun. Let's do a poll. So if you can all navigate to your poll tabs on the right side of your screen, let's do a poll together. All right, you ready? How much video is being managed in your DAM? Is it number 1, 100%? It's just all videos, that's all it is. Number 2, is it 50% videos and 50% other stuff? Images, graphics, other stuff? Or are your videos less than 50%? Here it goes, here it goes. I'm seeing, wow, okay, I'm seeing the numbers come in now. I just wanted to make sure that the poll was working. Less than, okay, so are we gonna close it off? At the end, the biggest response was number 3, less than 50%. Number 2 was 50% videos. And then the 100% category, there's only like 5% of us being there. So great. Okay, so the biggest one is sort of less than 50%. That's typical. We know that video is the most increasing category of asset types going forward. So that's great. So thank you very much for participating in the, there you go. All right, let's go on to the fullness of the presentation. So let's face the truth. Search is nothing without metadata. And that goes for all content, images, graphics, documents, and especially that of video, which we're talking about today. As you all know, marketers are wanting to engage with their audience in better ways and deliver clear messages and to promote your brand. And the best way that we're doing it is with video. But in order to help your search efficiency and accuracy, you need to embrace the power of metadata. And when you think about search, is it challenging? Is it the content that's providing the challenges? Do you see cheese on this screen? I sure hope you do. I do. But it's not just cheese, but in fact, it's all different types of cheese. The function of search will help us navigate what we are looking for, but the power of metadata will find it, whether it's cheddar, brie, manchego, or Stilton. It's metadata that's going to help us. And when you do a search, what you don't want to see is the dreaded no results page. You don't want to see that. A strong controlled vocabulary will help prevent the no results page by linking synonyms. It'll link spelling mistakes, always linking them back to the proper terms. A well-designed metadata model and taxonomy will help avoid the no results page by linking together all those things to ensure that you're able to find what you're looking for. So what is metadata? Well, we need to try this again. Let's see what metadata is. It's all the data about data that you're trying to manage. And there's 3 big categories. It is descriptive, it is structural, and it is administrative. And the descriptive is all those little bits and pieces in terms of like keywords and titles. Structural is all the things like file length and size and dimensions. And administrative are all those good things like rights management or preservation. And that's really important when you start thinking about the classes of video. Now, for some of us, we might get scared off and think, this might be the Matrix, where the video is just challenging and it's just little ones and zeros. But in fact, a good metadata model can look something like this, where we have fields and we have controlled vocabularies and terms. This is what a good looking metadata model can be. And this is what we all want to strive towards. So let's take a look at an image asset and then a video asset. So for this one, that's my dog Lola. As you can see, there's some descriptive asset. It's a photo. It's part of the Puggles campaign. We know who the photographer was. We know it's a JPEG. We know it's about 7 megabytes. We know when it was created, and it is part of a project series, and there are some limited rights. That's an image, and a good one too. But now let's look at a video asset. Okay, so this is a little bit different. We know it's a video. We know this is a clip from the Matrix Revolutions. It's part of a category called Wood Destroyed. Some good keywords were action, fighting, and wood. The description, very important to try, is it's a clip from Matrix Revolutions 2003. People smashing through wood, bodies flying through air, hitting wooden beams, falling, hitting floor. And now, obviously, if this was live, we'd be able to click that and you could see this, the 7-second clip of those actions happening. In the structural category, that's really important to notice that it is a QuickTime video. We know the file size. The length being 7 seconds is really, really important to know that, hey, this is not a long form, it's a short form. We're trying to look at something, and we know it's using a certain type of a codec called Sorensen. In the administrative category, we know there are some guidelines behind this. It is restricted. It's only for reference. This is not to be used. This is a reference clip. What's important about this is that you start seeing that with the video asset category, there are more metadata elements to start to add, and it becomes a little bit more challenging to know how to tag something, because we want these things to be found. So it's two sides of the fence of good metadata to go in, and then trying to get that on the back end. So images are static, we know that. And we know that videos by far generate more engagement with our users. We know that videos have one significant advantage over images. You can convey more information in a video that your consumers can better understand. And in fact, 95% of a message that consumers see in a video retains, and it remains with them. You can't get that with an image, but you can get it with a video. But if you thought finding an image was challenging, then so too is finding the videos, because it's moving. There are parts of the video you may want to see. You may want to see the whole thing, but you might want to see something smaller. So if you want to find something specifically, is there better functionality that we are able to do in the DAM to do this? Well, yes, there is. So your search appliance, the tool, those things happening behind the scene that you don't realize that are there, they are trying to give structure to the asset that you have. Metadata is able to help give that meaning. It would allow your users to choose from a controlled vocabulary of terms to apply metadata to the content when uploading to your DAM, MAM, CMS, something else like that. So you want to ensure that you're giving structure to those videos by giving it accurate metadata to what it's inside and what's it trying to convey. So let's spend a little bit more time now really looking at videos and the issue of search. Who doesn't recognize this screen? Google. I can't tell you how many times I have heard from people saying, why can't this DAM just be like Google? It's easy. It can't. It's not Google. And even if you wanted that in your DAM, you can't afford it. So I think it's good that we just get over that and move on to the next thing, because it's just not going to happen. But search is a victim of what is known as the consumerization of IT, where the lines between what you do at home and what you do at work, they sort of blur with each other. And our consumer expectations are not always aligned with the reality at work. It's just not the same. And that's okay, because they're not the same. What we do at home and how we experience our technology and how we consume it and search for it, it's very different than what we get at work or in the office. The two are very different. But this also equates to system search versus online search. When people perform a search on Google, they can expect a large set of results for their query, of which maybe the top 3 to 10 might satisfy their need. This is because a search engine indexes the entire internet's content that has much different vocabularies, algorithms, and a way of judging what is good content than what your search appliance will be for your DAM. Your DAM works differently, and that's okay. In fact, that's a good thing. So what does happen behind the scenes? Our firm did perform a comparative review of over 16 DAMs and MAMs that are currently being used in the industry. And what we see is that there are 3 major open source search applications being used: Apache Lucene, Elasticsearch, and Solr. You may have heard these names before, you may not have heard these names before, but this is what's happened in the background to make the search work for your DAM or MAM. So even though you don't know it, for all of you attending the session today, this is happening right now in the background. And while the search appliance or engine is one part of the search, it does need more to get it going. And that's the oil for the engine. What is that oil? Well, that's where the goodness of metadata and search techniques can come in to help. So let's talk about some things you can do to help increase search efficiency and accuracy. And it's good to see some of the questions coming in. I'm going to hold off till the end of those. I see some Matrix fans. This is great. That's fun. So what are some things we can do? Let's get a good file name in there with a targeted keyword. Make sure to provide a good file naming convention indicating at least a key element of what the content might even be for the category or subject of what it might be. I mean, videos are different. There might be multiple things happening. So a good targeted keyword in the file name might help. Also, trying to create a file title, with a good targeted keyword. Make sure to try and identify what the video is about and try and get that into the title of your file. This one's important to add a good text description. We'll go back to the example of the Matrix to see that, but this is a great opportunity to briefly describe what is in the video with the key elements of what took place that might be important to your users. Tip here, talk to your users all the time to ensure they are knowing what they're looking for and how that helps their search with video. So if you know what they're looking for, you can help by putting that into the text description. The fourth one is to create a custom thumbnail image. As many of you know, when you do get a video and you upload it, the thumbnail might just be automatically generated. It's a tricky one, but this is actually quite important. But with that automatically created thumbnail, it might not be the right representation of what the video is about. And if that is the case, then you might have to go and manually create a thumbnail that better represents the content. It's a little bit of extra effort, but it does go a long way. Again, when you see the results come in, you want to ensure that you're seeing better thumbnails to represent what the video might be. And then lastly, closed caption options. If this is available to you, then take full advantage of this functionality in your DAM and your MAM. It's great. It provides greater accessibility for your videos, and you may well be able to search the text from the video itself, whether it's lyrics of a song or even statements in a speech. This is great functionality that you would be able to offer. So let's go back then and look at the video or the example of a video asset from the Matrix. Again, this clip, when it was automatically generated, just went to the first frame and it didn't really show anything. So we had to go back in and create a better thumbnail of the 2 characters flying through the air, smashing through wood, and about to hit the wooden beams. This was seen as a better representation of a thumbnail to get it in there. And that description that is there is quite good in terms of giving other elements. It's picking up the keywords of wood, destruction, flying and falling and hitting. We're trying to get the sort of the elements of the fight scene in there to make it a little bit more robust. So again, a little bit of extra effort on the back end will help create a better experience for your users. And it's a good scene in the Matrix. All right, let's look at another example of how potentially video a video asset might be presented back into the user. So in regards to good UX or UI, that's user experience or user interaction. If you look at this example of a video asset in the search results, you can see how the full video is shown, as well as 7 different time-based clips within the video, which can even provide greater access. I love this example because it shows what a great UX could be for the user trying to access the clip. They see the full clip there, they're able to access it, and they see 7 different options below. Again, this is functionality that might be available to you, it might not, but I think this is a great example of where a good UX is being shown to the user. Let's talk about, it's on that theme of UX and UI, let's talk about faceted search. So it's often an out-of-the-box option for many of you when you're seeing your DAMs or your mouse being used. It's a great one to use. It's that left-hand navigation for search that is so valuable in trying to help users narrow their search based on key concepts. However, in order for faceted search to be useful, the facets definitely have to be built using that a great backend custom metadata model and taxonomy. This way, the enterprise controls what is being shown on the left. It's not an algorithm, it's the metadata and the taxonomy trying to show this. This is just a quick example of one, but obviously if you are able to filter by the media type, image, video, graphic, even some specific tags or the brands, it's a better way to narrow down, and it's a good user experience to help you get to your assets. Now, videos are not just videos. Who would have thought? You didn't think it was going to be that easy, right? But in fact, videos are different. And beyond the traditional short form and long form videos, which the differentiator, by the way, is a roughly 10 minutes. If it's lower than 10 minutes, it's a short form. If it's longer than 10 minutes, it's a long form video. But there's actually 9, what we've been able to discover, of different types of videos. So again, if someone's saying, hey, I'm looking for videos, what do you mean? So here's 9 examples of a good taxonomy of actual different types of videos. Number 1, a live action video. It's really just what it says it is. It's a recording of either a still or moving objects, and it's usually real people in real locations talking about something or doing something. Number 2, animations. These are videos made from many still images. Think of it as an illusion of movement. We see animations a lot in presentations. Whiteboard videos. This is a fairly new category in the last few years. Whiteboard videos, they're trying to tell a creative story with pictures drawn on like a whiteboard or a chalkboard by an artist recording their work as they're talking. It's really interesting. The next one is motion graphics videos, slightly different. It's a style of animation that uses text and shapes to communicate, and they usually have music or voiceovers to them. Typography videos are also known as fast typography. It's an animation technique that blends movement and words to express the ideas or the story. Many of you have probably seen them. They're actually quite popular right now. They're quite fun to watch. Number 6, a screencast video. So this is, or also sometimes seen as a screen capture video. It's a digital recording of a computer screen, most often with a voiceover narration. And you usually see these things in software product demos, probably for your DAM and your MAM. Number 7 is a live action screencast. That's a combination of both the live on-camera recording of a person or persons showing demonstrations of something on a computer screen. Again, very similar with product demos. Last 2, number 8, live streaming. This is a broadcast straight to your users, usually on a social media channel like YouTube or Facebook or Instagram. Very popular with the bloggers and the vloggers. And lastly, a photo montage. And that's essentially slideshows combining photos and music with a voiceover to tell a story. So when you're starting to think about your own categorization and ideas of videos, here are 9 ways that you can potentially add extra value to your users by trying to define better representation of what videos might be for the system. All right. I do want to remind everyone that search is also just very much about people. It's really just a human endeavor when you think about it. While our search experiences may be powered by the goodness of metadata, it's people that make it work. They determine what they're looking for and how they're trying to find it. And my call to action to you today is, if you are not regularly talking to your users, then you're not optimizing your search process and you're not really increasing your accuracy. You need to train your users on your DAM or MAM as they become in. And then I actually encourage you to redo training and search once a year. Evidence has shown from the clients and the work they've been doing over the last 20 years, the more you do search training, the better the search accuracy and results are coming in. Plus, you have better user adoption of your DAM or your MAM. So my call to action is invest in your people, talk to them more often, and do some good search training. It'll go a long, long way. All right, let's talk about some best practices that we can all start doing. But this is our second poll of the day. So if you again navigate over to your poll on the right tab, this is an easy one. It's only 3 answers. It's, do you practice metadata governance? It is yes, no, or I want to. So the poll is now open. I see it. Yes. No, it's shifting. Oh, this is great. It started out high, now it's moving around. Oh, I love that. Oh, golly, it's actually moving quite a bit. Interesting. I like to think I know where the answer is, and it's moved. Wow, this is a great group. The numbers are switching quite a bit. I think we're going to call it at this. So the answer is, it's moving again. About 52% of you are saying that you do practice metadata governance, and that is great. That makes me happy. That means over 50% of you are actually doing some type of a governance system or training, or even just some mechanism. That's awesome. I'm also encouraged to see that there's about 47% of you saying that you want to, and I love that even more. So everyone, let's do governance. Thank you for participating in that poll. So what is governance? Well, remember, metadata is a living document. It lives and it grows and evolves all with your business needs, and you need to manage the change. Because guess what? Your metadata will change, your assets are going to change, your user needs are going to change over the time. So let's have some good governance as we do this. Make sure that on a regular basis, once a month, once every 6 weeks, whatever it is, that you as a board of people, and if board and governance is the wrong word, choose a different term, call it a committee, call it something else, but make sure you're meeting to talk about how you make changes to your metadata as the terms will change, as meanings behind the terms will change. Always ensure that governance is happening. My advice is, it's not an option anymore. You have to do it. And from, again, doing digital asset management over the last 20 years and looking at things like images and videos, organizations that are doing governance have a higher user adoption of the DAM and MAM. So I think it's a good time. So when you're doing governance, what are the types of things you might be thinking about? Well, adding terms, removing terms. Are you looking at your controlled vocabulary on a regular basis? How often are you looking at your metadata model and your taxonomies? And how often are you meeting with your users? Don't do it just once a year. Try and do it more often. Quarterly meetings with some of your users, online polls, survey monkeys, any way that you can engage your users and have them give you feedback on their unique issues with things like video search, the better you will be. Again, when you're thinking about metadata with your videos, there's 3 things I would like to encourage you to think about. Number 1 being, what problems are you trying to solve? Are you just referencing, looking at the videos? Are you trying to edit videos? Are you trying to find specific things, take the clips out? You need to ask the business and the users, what are you trying to solve, and how the metadata can be a part of that. Number 2, who is going to use the metadata and for what purposes? Again, are these people looking at it for legal reasons? Is it reference requests? Is it, again, being able to take snapshots, use images and stills from the videos? Again, you need to engage your users a lot more to understand who's going to be doing the work and what reasons are there behind it. And lastly, what kind of metadata is going to be important for those purposes? Is it to understand that some videos are longer than others, file length? Is it codec issues? Is it the ability to see the closed captioning? We don't know those things. So you need to engage your users and to better understand so your metadata can grow and evolve with your users over time. Lastly, 3 big things I wanted to sort of redirect our attention to as we think of some best practices Obviously, without quality metadata, your search is not going to work very well. So take the time to invest that time to understand the unique elements of your videos and to better understand how users will use them. Quality metadata will always help the search. As I said, or I tipped off before, search is all about people. Well, metadata in itself is a human endeavor. So take that time, invest in the people, do regular training of search. Again, the search experience at home is going to be very different than the search within the business. So let's just take that time to talk to your users and have that better relationship. And number 3, search needs a quality user experience. Ensure that the people looking for assets in your DAMs or MAMs, there's a good experience behind it. The screen looks good. The results are coming back in good ways with accurate thumbnails and good metadata being represented when you see the asset come in. In closing, obviously with metadata, without metadata, you really don't have anything that much. Metadata serves as that index to point your users, your people to all the content that you need. And we know that metadata does matter because it is a strategic initiative for any organization looking to better manage the content. It matters because it is that sort of unique tactical application of data to your content, and especially videos, to help enable creation and discovery for distribution and then eventually consumption of the videos. And lastly, good metadata will make your videos smart and ready to be found and ready to be seen. And with that, we are good to go to the Q&A section. So I'm going to stop sharing this. You now see me. We've got about 3 to 4 minutes left, and there's a whole bunch of good questions. Many people like my dog. Great, I do too. Whatever Lola wants, Lola gets. We have a question here from Bill. We have both video and photo DAMs. Interesting. Do you have separate governance for each? First of all, well done. So you have a DAM for videos, then you have a separate DAM for photos, if I'm reading that correctly. Do you have separate governance for each? Don't know enough about your organization in terms of how big your organization is, and if the users are unique to those individual DAMs or they're similar people. If we go with the argument that they are similar and they are the same groups of people accessing documentation, I would probably just have one governance council or one governance structure to allow for that discussion on a regular basis to talk about photos and to talk about videos. However, if they are unique and separate and they're completely different groups of people within your organization, it may very well be either 2 different groups, or what I've seen most often in bigger organizations is that there's one bigger sort of governance body or collection of people, and then they have sub-teams that will look at unique things, IT upgrades. You could even sort of say you could have a subgroup of people that look at either video and or images. But great question. I do like that, the fact that you have 2 DAMs. Well done for videos and for images. The next question here. Oh boy, there's so many questions popping up. Look at them all. Somebody wants to put the Matrix clips. I can talk about that after. Just a sec. They're coming up fast. Since video is time-based, how would you include descriptive metadata for examples? What is happening in minute 1, then minute 4? That's from Alan. Great question. So yes, videos are time-based. And what do you do about the descriptive data for what is happening in minute 1 and minute 4? This is where the user feedback is really important to understand what the users are looking for. Sometimes if there are, let's say it's a speech, 20-minute speech, and it's broken down to sort of 4 or 5 major themes. If you know that and the information is available, I would definitely clip out those 4 to 5 different themes and have unique parts about each one of those as the descriptive metadata. Because again, if there's something unique that you're trying to look for in the speech, you can target it and go to that right specific session. And I'm getting the notification that we are just about out of time.